Hi everyone, this is audap. Let's continue our game of Paranormasight, the 7 Mysteries of Honjo, running on Nintendo Switch. Okay, I should have an end to this mystery, right? I think. I think I've done all I can do. All that's left to do now is wait. Someone come and save me? The curse stone of the beckoning light doesn't have any soul dregs in it. No matter what, using this curse would be wrong. I'm not even going to think about it. Is this the next thing we do? Huh? What is it? That person coming this way. What, that tall guy? Do you know him? Yeah, from a little while back. Mr. Yumioka. Over here. Oh. You're Gamyoda's manager, Mr. Yumioka, yes? Good to see you again. Ms. Kurosuzu. What a coincidence running into you here. Gamyodo Yumioka? He's been trying to avoid eye contact with Mio since he noticed it was her. Something's fishy. How have things been since we last met? If she just stays with her training, she won't have to rely on cheating people anymore. Yes, she's been keeping at it. Cheating people? Miss Kurosuzu, so glad to see you're doing well. I assure you, we've had no issues you need to concern yourself with. Just what kind of person is this guy? You gotta tell me what happened. A case from a while back, a family overseeing a reliquary came to us saying they were being investigated by someone suspicious. Investigated? A psychic named Sugen Gamyodo suddenly showed up. She said that she had a premonition that something terrible would happen and had to exorcise the temple immediately. Sounds like a cover for a burglary. After they notified the police, I was dispatched there by Paranormal Affairs. I inspected the place myself, but didn't see anything wrong, so I sent them away. He acted as Gamyoda's manager during the case. That is pretty suspicious. Apparently she was looking for something there, but I told her that that's no excuse for fraud and sent her off with a scolding. And honestly, Gamyodo didn't even have much spirit sense to speak of, which soured my mood on the whole thing. Right, so she was one of those types then. Well, she's involved in all kinds of stuff, so she may at least be knowledgeable about paranormal objects. But essentially, she's one of those fraudulent psychics that are so common nowadays. He hasn't made eye contact with Mio. Hate is radiating off of him. He doesn't really like Mio. If you have no further business with me, then I'll be on my... Oh, before you go, Gamyoto seemed to know a lot about paranormal objects. It would be a huge help if we could ask her about something. And what might that be? Is she familiar with an ancient text called the Record of Fate's Yin Scroll? Or anything about the descendants of an onmyoji named Simon Tsuchimikado? I beg your pardon? Miss Kurosuzu, how do you... So, you do know about it. I see. If that's what you're after, then that means... Hold it! Don't tell me you're trying to snatch up some innocent schoolgirl this time. Stop right there. Huh? Oh, she's out. If it isn't Yumioka, what a pleasure to see you again. What? Mayu Chozawa? What are you doing here? Huh? Chozawa? This investigator here helped me out. He really did a number on me. What do you know? We just so happen to have some business with Haihaku ourselves. Why don't you join us? You can do that much for us, can't you? You work for Haihaku after all. Depending on how this conversation goes, I won't have to get the police involved. Huh? You work for Haihaku? What's going on? There's really no way you can refuse, though, is there? Oh, you two young ladies must be involved as well. Would you care to join us? Oh, sure. I mean, is he a curse bearer? It seems like he doesn't actually have a curse. Quite the view, isn't it? How long can you play dumb with this many people lined up and wanting answers from you? You better just give in and come clean with everything you know. She's Mayo Chozawa, the fiancée of Hajime Yoshimi, the police officer. I'll have to talk to her about Hitomi later. We were introduced briefly earlier, but this flashy-looking guy is a private investigator. I thought they were only like that in TV shows, but I guess they're pretty intense in real life, too. Excuse me, I had no idea that Gamyoto was connected with Haihaku. So I'd just like to ask, was it Miss Yamamori from Haihaku who obtained the Record of Fates and passed it on to Araishi? No, that was not the case. Oh, my mistake. Was it Sweden Gamyoto's doing then? No, it was not. We first learned of the Record of Fates from Mr. Araishi. It was then that Miss Yamamori gained an interest and extended a contract to compensate him in return for his research and findings. Then who was it that activated the Feast of Shadows to call forth the Curse of the Seven Mysteries? I give you my word that we had no part in that. We had learned from Araishi beforehand that something would happen at midnight last night, and that is all. Hey, there's no way that's true. Stop lying. I must ask that you please refrain from violence. Hold on, Yako. It's all right. The minute I learned that Gamyoto was none other than the queen of Haihaku herself, I felt that was the case. She doesn't have such a strong enough spirit sense for it. Oh, gotcha. While it is somewhat shameful, if you require proof, then so be it. What? So that talk of supernatural powers was just hot air? I don't think she has zero spirit sense, but even Yako here has more than her. I do? Also, the spirit power lingering in this park has been bothering me for quite some time. The person who died here must have had considerable power, had a considerably powerful spirit sense. If they were a Haihaku employee, then maybe they should have been the one running things. To think Shogo Okai was so talented. At any rate, Haihaku wasn't the mastermind behind exposing the Record of Fates to the world and initiating the Feast of Shadows. I think we can be sure about that. Alright. I didn't actually mean to talk to her. But Mio was amazing too, keeping her cool at a time like this. She must be used to dealing with adults by now. She was only introduced as the investigator's client. She's cool, and feels like we wouldn't stand a chance against a full-grown woman like her. And you know about the Record of Fate's Yin Scroll too, don't you? If you were researching the Rite of Resurrection in the Record of Fates, then you must have looked into the Yin Scroll as well. That's right. The Record of Fates alone wasn't enough to learn how to collect soul dregs. I'm sure you looked into many things on your own, but how much do you actually know? Who and where Simon Tsuchimikado's descendants are? Were you able to find that sort of information from Gamioto's connections? I can't reveal that. Okay. Excuse me, are you new to all of this too? Oh, I guess I'm kind of just tagging along. Me too. Let's make sure not to get in the way, shall we? Right. Now then, I've come to hand over the Haunting Clapper's curse like stone like I promised. A curse stone? Thank you. I have to admit I'm surprised that you are a man of your word. But first, I've got some questions about the curse stones you already have. What exactly do you want to know? Earlier you said that Heihaku had collected 6 of the curse stones already. 6? I'd like to confirm which of the 7 mysteries they correspond to. And why do you need to know that? Because I don't trust, of course. If you really collected them like you say, you'd have no problem saying which curse stones they are, right? First, the Whispering Canal. Good. And what else? Maya Chozawa over there has the Beckoning Light. Yep, you were the one who made sure I got it. What? Unfortunately for you, I don't feel like handing it over. So I don't think it counts as one of yours. Good to know. Anyway, do continue. Next there is the Ever-Burning Lantern, which we gave to Hideki Araishi. So you consider that one of Heihaku's then? Whatever, we'll worry about that later. That's 3. What about the others? Well, the others are the Foot-Washing Mansion and the Evergreen Beach. What? And lastly, the Fool's Possession, if I recall. So you claim. How about it, mademoiselle? That's wrong. Those 3 are with Inspector Tsutsumi. I gave the Fool's Possession to him myself, so I know he's wrong. There you have it. Too bad for you, pal. If our agreement was founded on lies, then I have no duty to hand over my curse stone like I'd promised. Meaning the only curse stone you have is the Whispering Canal. And it inevitably follows that you used it to kill the young man at Kinshiburi Park. Such a horrible act, and to your own employee, nonetheless. No, there you are mistaken. To be entirely frank with you, we do not possess a single curse stone. What? We planned to collect soul dregs using any method available to us, of course, as we needed the right. But committing murder ourselves was too much of a risk. We intended on having others collect the soul dregs for us. Is that so? Therefore, I myself have no soul dregs in my possession. It was our plan to arrange for particularly greedy individuals to receive the curses. What? It is possible Shogo Okai came to the possession of the Whispering Canal because of that. But by the time I became aware of this, he was already dead. I don't believe you. Are you really trying to talk your way out of this now? Or do you really want me to believe that a Heihaku employee was cursed by complete coincidence? That is the truth, whether you believe me or not. It must have been someone else entirely who took Shogo Okai's stone and killed him. I have no idea whatsoever whose hands the Whispering Canal is in now, nor where it may be. Oh, could it really be? Then it wasn't Heihaku who put the idea in Fumichika Nejima's head to get the curse stone either. Nejima, the only ones we've negotiated with are Awai and Arashi. Interesting. Excuse me, but does that mean you don't know the location of the remaining curse stones either? There's one that hasn't been mentioned. What about the Taiko of Sugaru? Ooh, good question, my mysterious mademoiselle. I'm afraid we have no information in that regard either. Have you heard enough about the curse stones? I have nothing else to tell you. Excuse me, Mr. Investigator? What is it, mademoiselle? Would you be willing to give up the curse stone you have? Ah, yes, you have a point. They're too dangerous to carelessly walk around with in one's pocket. However, sorry to disappoint you, that's not possible at the moment. And why is that? Ah, you don't know, do you? Then I'll tell you both. Then I'll tell you, both you and our friend from Haihaku over there. I doubt any of you have attempted it yet. But it seems the curse stones cannot be given to normal people. Huh? What? I actually tested it with the madam here earlier. Even if you give the curse stone to someone else, the curse bearer doesn't change, and the stone eventually makes its way back to the bearer. It's almost obvious when you think about it, seeing as how the curse stones appear to be to the curse bearers in their own accord to begin with. But Inspector Tsutsumi has collected curse stones from the other curse bearers. Then Inspector Tsutsumi must be a curse bearer himself. Ah. So, from what you're saying, curse stones can only be transferred between curse bearers. And obtaining a curse stone alone doesn't make someone a curse bearer, so they can't use its curse. Exactly, so they aren't quite as dangerous as you think. As for Haihaku's intention of just collecting the curse stones for themselves, unfortunately for them, it was never going to work, unless there's a curse bearer among them. That damn Araishi, how could he not know this? That must be why I sensed that I couldn't take Yako's curse stone. I returned it right away when I borrowed it from her earlier. That's precisely how it works, my mysterious mademoiselle. I'll give mine directly to Inspector Tsutsumi later. If you know Inspector Tsutsumi, then I think that's best. Thank you. Okay, so that conversation's all done. Who and where Simon Tsuchimikado's descendants are? Were you able to find that sort of information with Gamyoto's connections? I can't reveal that. Okay, so she's not quite done. We have to talk to her. I'll cut to the chase then. Are you the ones who killed Hajime Yoshimi? No, we did not. Don't try and play dumb now. If not, then who? That much I don't know. While it is true that we were after the information he possessed, he was killed by someone else before we could acquire it. Which forced us to target you instead, Miss Chozoa. And that's why you forced me to talk and why I ended up with this curse, huh? Indeed, though I never thought you would escape. Well, it took a couple of miracles, but yeah, I got out. And just what information did Hajime have that you wanted? You really think you can get away without answering now? But... Fine, I'll let someone else ask you something for now. Okay, so... Then would you prefer I expose to the public how Gamyoto is a fraud with almost zero spirit sense? Fine, I understand. From the results of our independent research, I found that Simon Tsuchimikado's descendant was Hajime Yoshimi. What? So that's why you went after Hajime. However, Hajime Yoshimi was only carrying a fragment of the whole. A fragment? That's right, he did say something about a fragment of an old manuscript. The location of the Yin scroll was hidden. This information was split into two and hidden in a pair of talismans which were passed down from generation to generation. Ah, talismans! I see. Hajime Yoshimi was supposed to have one, but it was almost certainly stolen when he was killed. It's possible that he knew the location of the others as well. So that's why you questioned me about the things he'd inherited. The girl Hajime had been helping recently must have had it then. Oh, Michio's talisman. Yes, Michio Shiraishi was also a likely descendant of the Simon Tsuchimikado. What? The talisman she carried as a keepsake from her father. We searched for it based on Miss Chozawa's memories. However, Michio Shiraishi was already dead. Yes, by coincidence she happened to be closely connected to Mr. Awai, so we began our investigation there. But he was already dead too, leaving you in a quandary. I see. Mio, if we can get both of the talismans, yep, we'll know the location of the record of Fate's Yin Scroll. Wow, sometimes the answer is right under your nose. Sometimes those answers are the hardest to find. Yako, let's keep quiet about the location of the talismans for now, okay? Right. No need for Yamioko to know. That was a close one. I almost let it slip. Okay, I think that's about all we have to ask him. We'll let you off for today since you went along with all of our questions nicely. A pleasure working with you. We're done here. But the information you have... The hell are you whining about? I said we're done, so scram. That's all our business as well, so I shall be bidding you all farewell. Yes, right. Excuse me, Mr. Investigator. Please don't forget about that curse stone. Don't you fret. I'll hand it over to Inspector Sutsumi like I promised. I'm glad I didn't end up having to give it to that Yamioka. Let's take our leave, madame. With this, we'll be freed from this troublesome curse ourselves. But she still wants to use the curse. So... That lady and the investigator, we should keep an eye on them. Agreed. Really? Why? I think they're up to something. Just my intuition, but still. Yeah, I wonder what that investigator really wanted out of all this. His goal was getting information about the curse stones. Then this might be bad. Oh, right. I've got one of those curse stones too, the beckoning light. Oh, right. If you wouldn't mind, would you give it to Inspector Sutsumi without using it? Yeah, sure. If you do introduce me to the cop, that is. I feel like if I keep carrying it around with me, I'll start getting some weird ideas too. I just remembered. Mayu, I have something important to tell you. Whoa, what's with all the yelling all of a sudden? You know a girl named Hitomi Okuda, don't you? Really? Hitomi has Hajime's talisman. Yes, he entrusted it to her in a panic just before his death. He sensed an imminent crisis closing in on him, but Hitomi was the only one around that he could ask for help. That's so... I'm sorry she got left with such a big responsibility. That must mean that Hajime got killed by someone who was after the talisman. But since he gave it to someone else, they couldn't steal it like they wanted. I'll have to thank Hitomi for that. I also think it's going to be hard for us to get her to give up the talisman. Yeah, you may be right. It was Hajime's dying request to her. So, you need the talisman for something? Yeah. Personally, I'd like to use the talisman as bait. Then I could get my hands on the bastard that killed Hajime. Please, I promise we'll uncover the mastermind behind all this. They probably have supernatural abilities at their disposal. Please leave them to us. Yeah, we'll catch them. Don't you worry. Well, look at that. You've got that look in your eyes. A look that young people get that says they'll get something done no matter what it takes. How am I supposed to say no to that? You go find them and give them what they deserve for what they did for my Hajime, you hear? We will. I'm pretty mad at them myself. If Punch's working on them, I'll give him a good one. Now that I can get behind. I'll leave it to you two. Now then, your next move should be to find Hitomi and get that talisman. Though, isn't there one more talisman that you need? Right, but we've got a pretty good idea of where the one Michio had is. We'll have to check with Inspector Sutsumi about that. We should go back to the school and call him. You got it. Okay, I'll head to the high school now and wait for you there. Perfect. It's all starting to get revealed. I wonder why this is still open. I guess we could have had a different route with him. Where he would have killed the girls, I would guess. Last resort. Hadaway and Richter rescue Mayu Chozawa and interrogate her along with Takumi Yamioka. They fail to gain any particular useful information about the curse bearers. They decide to return to Hadaway's home when... Hadaway Shikama, 5 p.m. We have received an update on the hostage situation. The 56-year-old male suspect who announced his intent to commit mass murder in Sumida City today had taken a woman hostage and gone on the run, but was found by the police in a park in Sumida after 4 p.m. and confirmed dead. The weapon the suspect was said to possess was nowhere to be found on site, but its whereabouts are currently unknown. Furthermore, the female hostage was not present, and the search for her continues. Interesting. If it's being reported on the news, then that lends credence to her story. I wonder what her intentions are. How is she able to act like nothing happened? Is this just how girls are these days? He was quite shaken just moments ago, but he seems better now. You'd think it'd be harder for him to keep his cool. Anyways, I should ask about her side of the story. Well, it's just like I said, right? The female hostage mentioned on the news just now. That must have been you. Which means you killed Nejima with your own curse stone. Well, you said you'd give me refuge, so I came to take you up on that offer. What are you planning? Me? Well, obviously. I'm on to my last resort. You're a curse bearer? So, you're a curse bearer with a curse stone too, right? Are you surprised? Yes, I have a curse stone of my own. It's the Taiko of Sugadu. Then why go after other people's curse stones? Because killing people is bad, you know? Don't you think so too? Actually, Hathaway doesn't particularly think killing people is bad. She just doesn't want to do it. Think so? You're right. It's wrong to kill people for the sake of resurrection. Right? And it's not even 1 for 1, so it's hardly a fair exchange. Either way, that's why I wanted to only use soul dregs gathered by others. But that didn't work out in the end. No one had the backbone to use their curse. The world's gone soft. With no one mercilessly using their curse in pursuit of their own goals, I had to take matters into my own hands. I heard Namagaki, the young man you were with, used his curse stone too. Huh? How did you know that? Ick, creepy, much. Are you stalking me? I may have heard it from a detective I know. There it is. Cops. Bet you know a bunch. I know your type. People who boast just because they know a couple of cops. But the police is filled with nothing but scum. My, you seem to hold quite a grudge against the force. Speaking of that, this guy's really creeping me out. What's the deal with him anyway? You gonna explain? Even the way he moves is all weird and exaggerated. Right. I haven't introduced myself yet. I'm... No, thank you. Introductions. Let me introduce myself. It's hard to talk as strangers. Is it? Are you okay telling me who you are? Well, I won't stop you. Do as you please. Well, I am Haruo Shigima, and this is my house. My father and husband are both with the police. Is that so? Then you know that cops are just the worst people, right? Well... What are you doing, Bear? What are you doing? Alright. There are certainly many who are cold, especially with their own family. In a police family, one is always expected to just grin and bear it, no matter what happens. God, I know, right? What a relief. You understand. I think we might get along. Oh? Well, I'm glad then. And I'm Richard High, private investigator. Did I ask? But, you're an investigator? So your job is to sneak around and follow people to pry into their secrets, right? Oh, is that why you keep probing with all these questions? Ew. Guess there's not much I can do to change that terrible impression you've got of me. Hey lady, why are you working with this dude? I asked him to look into something for me. Really? It's just that he keeps looking this way. Isn't your father a police officer as well? That man is not my father, not in name or deed. Sounds like there's some bad blood there. I've already legally cut all ties. He even had the nerve to act all high and mighty today and still refused to help me. Oh, you met him today? Yes, today. Remember that Chief Sutsumi who was chasing Nejima? Well, that's him, my dad. What? You're his daughter? Former daughter. I've cut ties. He's never acted like a father, so he doesn't deserve the title. You know, I heard something about that Nejima guy. Apparently he wanted to get revenge on Chief Inspector Sutsumi for his arrest by going after his daughter. Wait, really? And I heard the police had been searching non-stop to take you into protective custody. So that explains why the police were staking out your place, too. Man, how could I have known that? They came in such intimidating numbers. Wait, huh? Hold on a minute. Does that mean that Nejima was specifically after my life today? That sounds about right. It's a good thing you got out unscathed, or rather managed to turn the tables on him. That means legally speaking it was self-defense. But that truly was quite frightening. To think I'd have to go through with this just for being related to a cop. It's a disgrace. It truly is, to cause their own child such trouble. I'm sorry. It's okay. You're not the one that needs to apologize, lady. I'm sorry. It just reminded me of what happened to my son. Your son? What happened? My child was also kidnapped and murdered in order to enact revenge against the police, you see. What? How awful. That's terrible. I'm sorry to hear that. Now that you say it, I do remember hearing about an incident like that last year. That must have been your son, huh? My condolences. Hold on a minute. Now that I think about it, although we've met a few times, I didn't even know your name. I guess we're more like acquaintances now. You're a curse bearer. So what were you talking about again? Oh, right. Yutaro Namagaki. He's no good, honestly. He's such a wuss. I had to spur him on so many times for him to even use his curse, and even then he was pissing his pants. And just when I take my eyes off him, he hands over his curse stone to someone. Honestly, he's a disappointment. So, that's what happened. Which is why I figured I had to do it myself if I wanted it done right, you know? That's why my last resort is collecting soul dregs on my own. You used the curse stone? So, when you were taken hostage by Nejima, you used the curse stone in the gardens and swiftly made your getaway. Yeah, well, yeah. I didn't really have time to think on it. At the time, I only thought of how to get out of there. Then? What about now? Could you use it again? Your curse stone. Well, the curse stone doesn't respond during the day, but it's evening now. So I tried using the curse just now, and yep, it seems I activated it. What? You're using it now? It might still be a little weak. I guess it's not supposed to be used repeatedly. But I think I could get it to work once more. Oh. That's so... Sure is, so I'll give you a final warning. It's already started, so be careful, It started? What started? The curse, of course. All that's left is for the conditions to be fulfilled. She activated her curse. The curse stones can be used already? I let my guard down. I didn't think I could be used this early in the evening. Ma'am, please calm down. What should I do? Should I keep her talking? What is a Taiko Suguru? No, instead of talking about that, how about we talk about why you're so shaken? As I thought, you have a curse stone too. You're a curse bearer, aren't you, lady? Yeah? Yes, I am. I'm sure you've already noticed. Well, yeah, around last night. It was a little too obvious. Judging by your address, I'm guessing you got the haunting clappers. Yes, that's right. There's a lot of soul dregs on the table for killing a curse bearer, you know. I'm well aware. Did you get soul dregs when you killed Nejima? Of course, his curse stone already contains some soul dregs as well. I think killing one more curse bearer will be enough for the rite. You can combine soul dregs across several stones. Correct. All it needs is the prerequisite amount. As long as you've got that, it doesn't seem to matter where you got them from. I see. Then, you wouldn't mind if I took them, right? My lady. You're quite motivated, aren't you? Ma'am. Hers requires, like, the name and address and everything be known, I think, right? Which we just introduced each other, so, I mean, she would have all that. I guess we could do SFX. I guess it would just be voice. That'd be super weird, huh? What's your desire? Oh, I can use my curse? What the heck? I guess that might be one of the endings. What is your wish, Ayami? Is it really to resurrect Katsushika Hokusai? Yes, there's no life that holds more value than his. Huh? Man, please, think this through. Ah! Ha! Ha! Oh, no, she had some fire on her? Ma'am, why? It was the only way. Richter, could we settle any outstanding tabs now? Yeah, sure. I mean, was she actually going to kill us? I don't know. I mean, probably not. But like I said, we did do the introduction, so, I mean, she might have got us. Some days later. Hold on a minute. Let's see. Her son somehow emerged from the mound, back from the dead, so the legend goes. I heard it's being adapted as a Noah play. Interesting. And? Well, it just had me thinking that legends really do exist. Sorry to ask again, but... what are you on about? Okay, we'll have to watch that again. Sorry. Step away. I didn't realize it would just auto scroll. Yeah, interesting. So I'm assuming that Amamorty is her son, reborn. And that he's still alive, you know, some years later. I mean, that would have to be it. Which, you know, is an interesting ending. Yeah, these, I mean, the first couple endings you find are just like all the terrible endings. There's no, like, good ending. I mean, maybe this is considered a good ending in that she managed to revive her son, if you're on Hadaway's side. But Hadaway is, like, a super weird character. I mean, you kind of get the impression that there's something wrong with her. And there really is. But, you know, I mean, you kind of relate to her as well, since you know, she had her child killed for a great wrong, and not enough people on the force helped her, even though, you know, the whole family are law enforcement. So, like, I kind of understand where she's coming from. But if the curse works the way that Nejima says, then she just gets a brand new child somewhere, right? Not necessarily. Never mind. It is what it is. Welcome to my office. It might be small and dirty, but welcome. Come on, Ernestine. Say hello. That's it. Good girl. Oh, that boy over there? That must be... Hey kid, I'm a private investigator. I worked with your mother not too long ago. What's that? You want to be an investigator when you grow up too? That's great. So much better than becoming a police officer. Hey, I'm Amamori. don't tell the kid to give up on his dreams. I think it's a great idea. Why don't you bring us some tea instead? Pardon me. Let's start over. What brings you to my humble office today? Hadaway's legacy. Yeah, like I said, it's an okay ending. I mean, it does make sense for her. That's the ending that I would have thought that she would do. No matter what, she was going to... no matter what, she was going to enact the curse. I mean, that was her whole intention. She was never, like, on the fence about it. You know, she let everybody know. Richter knows, certainly, that that's what she wanted to do. So, again, not necessarily a surprising... surprising ending, or a possible ending. Yeah, and she's a super interesting character, Ayami Tono. Or Curse Bearer. I wonder if we have to introduce ourselves, like... Well, is this what it's like to be rushing to one's doom? Okay, yeah, we have to make introductions, so this has to happen to enact the rest of the conversation. We have to introduce ourselves, which is what she needs to activate the curse. I think. Although I thought that was Nejima's curse, was to do that. I didn't think it was hers. I wonder if we turn this off, if we still get the same options. It's kind of a bummer to have to turn this all the way off. I mean, I like having some sound. And there's no voice acting, so... Yeah, and I wish there was a skip dialogue, except for what's not read. But that option doesn't seem to be here. Use the curse stone. Seems activated, yep. What do you desire? Okay. Yeah, I'm a curse bearer. It's her desire. What is your wish, Yami? Is it really to resurrect Katsushika Hokusai? Yes, there's no life that holds more value than his, including my own. You're saying you'd be willing to die if it meant bringing Hokusai back to life? Not all life is equal. At least, not to me. A life that can birth art with the power to move hearts is infinitely more worthy. Compared to that life, the life of someone like me, someone that can't produce a thing, has no value. That's unhinged. I'm still young. It's the age for wild thoughts. But, but, aren't you the same as me? What? You've got a life more important than your own. A life you consider more important than the lives of many others. That's what you're doing it all for, isn't it? You're right. If I can save my son, I couldn't care less about my life or the lives of others. Ah, who's unhinged now? I'm a mother. It is what it is. Dang, the feeling of a proper parent or something else. But if that's your wish then, what do you plan on doing if you don't get your wish? Oh, I haven't thought of it. I might just keep on trying to bring Hosakai back some other way. You really are obsessed. You and Haihaku's chairwoman might be cut from the same cloth. Who's that? She's like an all-powerful vortex of obsession turned to yokai-level proportions. You're saying I'll end up like her? Are you looking forward to such a future? I'd rather not have to wait until I'm old and creaking. I want it to happen now. I'll put my life on the line for Hosakai. Your father, the chief inspector. I met him not too long ago. Oh, really? He came off a little stiff and awkward. That's a surprise. But there was something charming about his seriousness, and he seemed like he cared a lot about his daughter. Ugh, please cut it out. It's gross. You don't know a thing about us. Outsiders shouldn't butt into another family's affairs. Though he may as well be a stranger to me now. Even if you've cut legal ties, you're still related by blood. Huh? We're not related at all. Huh? He probably thought that I never noticed it, but it wasn't hard for me to figure out that I wasn't related to them by blood. So you were adopted. Well, I got curious, so I looked into it. It was all pretty straightforward. I was a baby when they took me in. All they did was raise me. Oh, so you're Nejima's daughter. My mother first got pregnant shortly after she married. But it was a stillbirth. Huh? The whole affair left a deep wound on her heart. My father couldn't bear to see it. So it was for her sake that he did it. I was a substitute, a replacement for the child she'd lost. He decided that all by himself. He didn't discuss it. Maybe he was trying to be thoughtful. So any baby would have been fine, as long as it could have comforted the woman who hoped to become a mother. Putting it in such a way, it's not easy to raise a child. My mother was bewildered. Wouldn't you be, after being told to raise a baby that wasn't your own? But she couldn't just abandon the baby either. Yet my father just left everything to my mother and never lent me a hand. He's so damn selfish. The two of them grew apart. I watched them try and figure out how to understand each other, and the sight of it disgusted me. It was a messed up family, I tell you. Well, I guess my presence was to blame for the rift to begin with. You shouldn't say that. I know he's bad at expressing himself and he has his work, but still, that shouldn't be an excuse. But knowing all that, I couldn't take it anymore. It just made me want to hurry up and leave home and live on my own. I still rely on him for tuition and allowance, but that much is normal for most kids, right? I don't want him to start acting like he's my father now just because he's doing the minimum. I'm sorry to hear that. It sounds like it was tough for all of you. I'm sorry, you're right. It's not my place to talk about your family. Well, I may have said too much. To think I spilled all that when I don't even know what the conditions are. Could it be what we were talking about had something to do with the activation conditions for the haunting clappers? Who knows, Tobacco? Do you smoke? Huh? Well, a little. Feel free to smoke if you want to, please. I'm okay. I don't see any ashtrays out on displays either. Does no one smoke in this family? A little rare, isn't it? Nobody in the family does. Okay, so this is what I was supposed to do beforehand before I just hit the curse button. Then why did you ask me if I did all of a sudden? Well, Nejima. How did you kill Fumichika Nejima? I'm not telling you. I only asked because it does concern me. He was one of the reasons my child was kidnapped. There's not much to say. We talked and he cleared the conditions for my stone. Does he show any signs of remorse over his past crimes? It didn't feel like he did, no. I see. The world is full of trash men, I tell you. I agree. In a way, I guess you could say you put a stop to Nejima's mass murder schemes. How about that? There's no guarantee that I won't do it myself. Huh? I picked up his curse stone of the one-sided reed. It really is something else. Unfortunately, I can't use a curse stone that's not mine until it's late at night. Really? Are you okay with telling me that? How silly of me. I'll let that slip. Tee. Negotiate. Listen, Ayami. I have something to ask you. No. The answer's no. The curse stone's in your possession. I'm not giving it up. You're right. We're both made of stronger stuff than that. You're not giving it up. And neither am I. You know full well, right? That there's no room left for a negotiation here. You're right, there's not. Oh, I guess there's only one ending? Oh, maybe if I turn the stuff back up, then she loses? There really isn't anything else? I have to use the curse? Is there no way for her to use her curse? Ah, did you try to use your curse just now? It seems I didn't meet your curse's conditions. I wonder if it was smart to secretly toss the lighter I was carrying earlier. Oh, I see. If you use the curse immediately. That's interesting. When did you... You made a mistake when you decided to ask me about smoking. If the source of fire is conditioned for your stone, then you won't see me falling for it now. Huh. You wasted your chance with all this chatter. All you needed to do was activate your curse first. I brought everything Nejima had on him, including the lighter he was holding. Huh? But it's over now. Yes, I concede. Alrighty. With your cards on the table, you're out of options. It might be possible for Mr. Investigator there to pin me down by force. But he's not going to do that, is he? Correct. I won't take that risk, not while your curse's conditions are unknown. Coward. I came to kill you and acquire your soul dregs, but after hearing you out, I got a question for you. Why don't you just give up on the right of resurrection? You said it was your son, right? The one you wanted to bring back? But you haven't done enough. But haven't you done enough? I'm sure your son is content knowing you cared for him this much. I'm truly willing to die to resurrect Hosukai, but you can't say the same, right? If you're going to bring your son back, you have to be alive as well, right? In fact, what you really want is for both of you to live, right? Yes. Well, even if you both live to see it, your son would grow up knowing you for who you are, someone who stole the lives of others to bring him back. You would be putting the burden of shouldering all the lives sacrificed for him on his little shoulders. Are you really okay with that? If you didn't even think about that, then what are you doing then what you're doing is not for your son. It's for yourself. Aren't you just bringing him back to fulfill your own desires? That's not... Ma'am? What she's saying may be harsh, but holds a kernel of truth. Don't reduce yourself to nothing for a mother who would sacrifice anything for her son. But that's not... We discovered the truth behind his kidnapping. Next, you should take some time to come to understand your own feelings. I'll help you every step of the way. Getting to the heart of things is what an investigator does. What will you do? Ma'am? If you relinquish the curse stone to a curse bearer, you will no longer be a curse bearer. You won't target anyone, or you won't be a target anymore. Ayami is giving you a chance. Think hard, and then give your answer. And give it up. Very well. Here. Thanks. Glad you could see reason. Ma'am, you made the right choice. Dang, you really didn't collect any soul dregs, huh? I promised myself that if I ever used it, it would be only once. But in the end, it didn't come down to numbers. So, they only need to be carrying a flame? That seems pretty practical. Well, I'll be taking my leave then. There's no point in going after you for soul dregs, so I'm off to the next curse bearer. Do you know who remains? You speak as if you've already figured it out. I've got a pretty good idea from our talk. What will you do? Do you plan to stop me? It's not my place to intervene. Alright then. Hey lady, can I borrow your phone? No, she's really going to kill her own dad. That seems pretty harsh. I don't mind. But who are you calling? The cops. I think it'd be faster if I called them directly. Yeah, something wrong with her daughter. I mean, it's not really his daughter, huh? So... But with that in mind, why don't we stop it there? This is Audapostrophe. You've been watching Paranormasight, the 7 Mysteries of Honjo running on Nintendo Switch. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed watching. I will see you at the next stream.